this is Tarregor. This video is a Twitch stream that was not edited, so it's going to look like it's streamed on Twitch.tv. Welcome to my vision of World of Warcraft Classic Plus. The design direction of my vision of Classic Plus is substantially different from that of retail WoW Circuit Shadowlands, and new private servers, Vanilla Plus and Turtle WoW. This is partially because it aims to fix Vanilla WoW's many problems first, flesh out and polish what's already there second, and add new content third. This is part of a playlist of videos. Check this video description for a link to the playlist. The document displayed is my vision of Classic Plus. Hold on. The document's version number is version 1.5.16. All versions of the document are based upon patch 1.12.2 of World of Warcraft, the one before the Burning Crusade pre-patch. If you just want to know about the general design direction of my vision of Classic Plus before you otherwise look into this, then watch the introductory video in this playlist, or if you did document yourself, and look at the list of major features. The link to the document is on my channel's About page. That night does not have a team of people or ever working with me to make an actual private server at this. This is all pure design thus far, and it ain't done yet. Now then, first off, before the actual changes come the agenda. And before that, there is actually a huge subsection for, well, not always huge, for each primary profession, and a smaller one for each secondary profession. But those will be covered in later videos. This will be about profession changes in general. Now, first off, the agenda for what I do want to do professions in general. Before the execution comes the agenda. I want to give hardcore min-maxes a substantial and non-financial reason to pick any primary profession when somebody else can craft everything for you on the spot. So that means you're not just going to pick blacksmithing and goblin engineering on every character that you actually give a shit about beyond making gold. Whereas the Goblin Engineering, it used to be Nowish Engineering before you dropped it and switched it for Goblin Engineering. So you could get Nowish Battle Chicken and Death Ray, and I forgot what else. Shrink Ray. Anyway, I also want to be nitpicking in various and minor ways. I want to get rid of exploits. I do things mentioned in each section for each individual profession. Those are covered there in those sections, not this one, mostly. And I want to do things that are related to other sections of this document. Such as the inventory container changes section. Non-inventory container changes, excuse me. And also inventory container changes, now that I think about it. Anyway. Hold on. Okay, that's better. Now then, for the general profession changes. The item qualities, white, green, blue, epic, etc. names of the items, all purple, of all recipes, schematics, formulae, and such, will be increased or decreased to be of the same quality as the item that teaches the player how to craft. This change will indicate to the new players the value of each individual recipe, schematic, and formula to an extent. You may not drop, that is, forget, a profession while you have something equipped that requires no except profession to equip, if it was not already the case, in order to prevent exploits. You may no longer skin enemies, mine ore, or pick herbs. You may no longer mine or pick herbs or use gathering professions on corpses while you're in combat. Yeah, that's a much more concise way to put it. Being put into combat while doing so will cancel the action if it's in progress, but it will not close the relevant loot window if it's open. This will make it harder to harvest mats from 40-man raids, quotation mark by yourself, quotation mark, such as Solderite and Bloodvine. The Soothsaying for Dummies book that lets you change your profession and specialization, which actually existed for a brief time in Vanilla Classic, and I took advantage of it, it will also exist in this Classic Plus. You also dump your profession and then retake it in order to change your profession specialization. And changing the alchemy patterns that were obtained from what it used to be 20-man or 40-man raids in patch 1.12.2 will no longer drop from said places, nor will they come from factions that you can only get reputation with by doing what were 20 or 40-man raids in patch 1.12.2, or having somebody else do it for you. Either. Instead, they'll all be obtained from elsewhere. It's no more shit from the Xandlord tribe, no more recipes dropping from Encourage, etc., etc. Excuse me, the Xandlord tribe will still offer reputation rewards, but none will be enchanting or alchemy patterns. Anyway, moving on. The Fire, Frost, and Shadow Reflector schematics, any patterns of Robe the Archmage, Robe the Void, and True Faith vestments will all be made bind on pickup in order to make these patterns be more valuable. I might make alchemy recipes require more reagents than before because you'll be able to pick plant-based corpses after you've killed and looted them, but no, if I decide to do so, then it won't be much more valuable than before. All consumables and non-use effects are required a primary profession to use. We'll put all other such consumables and non-use effects that a profession offers on cooldown for the duration of the cooldown of the used consumable item or effect. This does include trinkets and other equipment and non-equipment. Anyway, furthermore, equipping something that has one of those non-use effects will not put the item or anything else that it shares a cooldown with on cooldown. Design note, I forgot why I made this extra rule that is highlighted right now. For the sake of simplicity, these cooldowns will be referred to as profession cooldowns. All equipable non-trinkets that do not require profession to use and have non-use effects will, when used, put a random primary profession cooldown on cooldown, somehow tongue twister, for a duration equal to the activated cooldown. An easier profession cooldown will put all equipable non-profession non-trinkets on cooldown for a duration equal to the activated cooldown. Otherwise, such items would conflict to profession cooldowns. I forgot basically, they'd be a little bit overpowered or something. Anyway, moving on. All profession cooldowns will never put anything but what triggered it and the other things in its profession on cooldown, etc. otherwise stated. All profession trainers will have a dialogue option about their profession that they teach. See link for more dialogue. I'm going to show you a bit of link. Hopefully, if you're a mobile viewer, then that blows. So yeah, if you actually care to pause the video, then as you can see, this is all some very basic bitch stuff that is not talking down to people who do not know a whole bunch of shit about the game. It's just giving new players some very general guidance that they don't, for example, become a warrior of tailoring and enchanting because he thinks that he's going to be making plate armor with it tailoring or some shit. Basically, I don't want shit. Basically, all it's going to do is prevent people from making decisions like that because they actually think it's going to help make plate armor with tailoring or some dumb shit like that. I'll scroll through the rest of this slowly. Was this before or after I made the weapon / armor and chaining split? Yes, it was after. Okay, good. By the way, I forgot to mention the agenda that every profession is getting a specialization. I'm going to go stick that in the agenda. Oh wait. Due to things that are mentioned in each section for each individual profession, I forgot. Okay, yeah, that covers that. Anyway, next up. All profession quests other than those related to notion engineering, fell tailoring, lunar tailoring, and obviously class-specific stuff will no longer have class restrictions or racial restrictions beyond Alliance / Horde versions of the quest. Note that notion engineering has is not included here. It's not written there, that is. All quest givers that have quests that grant you recipes when you finish them will have a dialogue option that is only accessible if you have done all the quest givers or other quests. Instead, dialogue option will let you buy now pickup versions of the recipes that the APC's quests offer in case you do the quest, forget the profession, and then learn it again and want those recipes back. I'll try to drop instead of forget. Well, players generally know what that means. Anyway, all quest givers that let you specialize in your profession will, if you've already completed a specialization or rewarding quest, offer a repeatable quest that requires a prerequisite amount of non-specialized skill to do and rewards you for your profession specialization, but costs an amount of gold based on what you normally have to do to get the specialization. So that people who drop a profession and then want it back can get it back. Many things have to do with professions shall have to do with a variable that will be, for lack of better terms, referred to as a profession level restriction variable. The actual game will not refer to it as this. This is just what I'm calling in this document. This profession level restriction variable is a number that is a number expressed as a level that is as a character level. I'm just going to say it over again. The profession level restriction variable corresponds to a character level that is associated with a given amount of profession skill. This character level is equal to 4 when the roll profession thing requires 1 to 10 skill. Is equal to character level 5, it requires 15 to 30 profession skill. Is equal to character level 6 when it requires 30 to 35 skill. Is equal to character level 7 when it requires 40 to 60 skill. Is equal to character level 8 when it requires 65 skill. plus one character level per 5 profession level requirements until it equals 54 when the proficiency requires 295 skill. And then if it requires 300 skill, then the profession level restriction variable will be equal to 60 and not 55. And almost always not 55, but 60. It is 55 under repeat specific circumstances, but otherwise it's going to be 60. However, concerning items that have a reduced chance to affect enemies above a certain level, according to their ability descriptions, or however the fuck, their profession level restriction variable will be of 50 or their profession level restriction variable of 50 or higher. That is 250. The I button is next to the O button. I meant to type if there. Okay, that makes more sense now. However, concerning items that having a reduced chance to affect enemies above a certain level, their profession level restriction variable, if 50 or higher, that is 275 plus skill, will always be increased to 63. But the other aspects of their other determinations that have to do with their profession level restriction variable will stay the same. This will make more sense as I go over the profession videos. Design of profession cooldowns, unfortunately, are not so balanced at low levels. Some professions get their first profession cooldowns before others, and partially because semantics demand that it be the case that they get profession cooldowns at the times that they thematically get in the first place. And in some cases, those semantics involve the profession cooldowns being locked behind a profession specialization, and I can't just give those to players at level 10 or so. And yeah, that's all I got for general profession changes. Next up, come see Alchemy video. That'll be in the next recording. Thanks for watching. It's going to be a long one.